right, let's do it. So this deck is looking at ramping up into staples like Pelakka Wurm and Star of Extinction. And then we've got Immortal Sun and Zacama. What are ways to actually kill them? We've got March. We're a pseudo combo deck, right? We can March of the Multitudes into untap Tristani, kill you. We have Zacama, and then we have Pelakka Wurm is just a 7/7. So I don't know. We got a bunch of sweepers. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, and we've slowly built up as I've started streaming full time, but Arena's definitely been that extra push that we needed. Now with the extension, that's awesome. That makes the viewing more accessible, and you know, just the amount of people that have been brought in with the Arena being an open beta. A lot of people watching this content that would normally never watch Magic Online content. Seems fine. Arena's probably gonna get me back playing Magic instead of Hearthstone. If you're playing card games on your computer, I mean, Magic's just one of the best card games ever made, and we finally have a good way to play it on the computer. No, Stream Decker and Deckmaster are third-party extensions. I don't know about many. We have a couple. I think many's an overstatement. We had a lot of them that played for a little bit because they were sponsored streams, but I believe it's just Nox and Savitz are the only ones I've seen consistently streaming without the sponsored tag. I mean, a piece of software like Arena doesn't just pop up. Oh yeah, Rained too. That's true. Rained was streaming off and on without being sponsored for extra stuff. Arena's a piece of software that I'm sure has been being worked on for probably 3, 4, 5 years by now. It's funny. I wonder how many of the people that like watch Rained know that once upon a time he streamed Magic. I think every time I've turned Day 9 streams on, he's had sponsored on his tag. Same thing, Kibler's done a bunch of streaming as well, but he's had sponsored in his title every time I've seen him on. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Sponsored streams are great for bringing people into the game, and sponsored streams are some of the best advertising dollars Wizards can spend, in my opinion. But they are sponsored. They are getting paid to do it directly. Which again, nothing, just so my position is perfectly clear. There's nothing wrong with sponsored streams, just like it's hard to judge how many people are here to stay until especially that is a spike. Yep. You have expanded my growth from the ashes. That's seems bad for us. The big are they gonna expansion it and then counterspell it? That would be such a kick. The big thing in my mind to see what's going to happen is how many people that popped into Arena stay through with Arena after Artifact releases. That's going to be the big thing in my mind. Because, like, Arena's the big new thing now, and Magic is great, and I'm excited for Artifact, the new Hearthstone set. Yeah, right? Although there's also, too, it'll be interesting to see if Valve does a bunch of sponsored streams for Artifact. Artifact is supposed to go into... open beta, like November 20-something, and then it releases at the end of November. Yeah, kickers don't count for converted mana cost. It's not like an X cost. The best, so I haven't played Artifact personally, so I don't really know if it's good or not firsthand. It has a lot going on, I think, is the only honest thing I can say from what I've seen so far. It's very complicated, and I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing. And honestly, at the end of the day, more competition for all the card games is probably good for those of us that want to play them, right? Like, competition breeds innovation. Man, we are just gonna die to this Drake. I really, really love these Jeskai decks that have Drakes and Phoenixes in the main deck. Just like having a way to actually close games out seems so incredibly important. Artifact only having 3 rarities is nice, but secondary markets kinda suck. I don't know. Having interacted with the MTG finance crowd for years, I'm kinda over it. I was, as someone who's an adult and able to admit when he's wrong, I was wrong about wanting Arena to have a secondary market. I think they could clean up their closed market a little bit. Like, I don't think their current closed market is perfect by any means, but I think the idea that it needs a secondary market, I was wrong on. Yeah, Artifact's gonna use the Steam Marketplace. I mean, honestly, the secondary market in Hex sucked too. Part of the thing that killed Hex as a game was the fact that they let their game get too expensive because their secondary market was ridiculous. Artifact is a new digital card game that's being created by Valve and being designed by Richard Garfield. It's being created with a Dota theme. All right, what am I cutting here? I need 3 more cuts. Is this a seal away matchup? I feel like I really need to kill their Drakes. Although sealing away a Drake and then getting a Teferi sounds really bad. I'm definitely bringing in Binding for Teferi specific. I have heard of Keyforge. Keyforge has amazing gameplay and an idiotic distribution model. I think the distribution model on Keyforge is stupid. It's a distribution model that's bad for competitive play and it's bad for casual play. So that means it's not really good for anybody. That's not true, Hemby. Like, Garfield created Magic and Magic's great and Garfield has a lot of great game design stuff, but like, go look at Garfield's resume and look up how many games he has in there that just like were unsuccessful or failed. Like, he's very good at what he does and he has a lot of success, but like, not everything he does is automatically successful. Assuming that that's the case means you haven't looked at the entire resume. He has more than one big game, but he's designed a lot of games. And Artifact might be great. It might be the best thing since Sliced Bread. I have no idea. I haven't played it. All right. Well, we didn't draw ramp spells, but we drew some lands at least. This is much better than drawing all bricks. Peace, True Gamer. Have a good one. Thanks for dropping by today. Turn 4 tap, let go is the standard I never do I wanted. Yeah, I agree, Dorks. I've also heard a lot of people, a number of people that I've heard describe Artifact that like it have also said that the Constructed isn't very good. And as someone who basically only plays Constructed in card games, like if the Constructed's not good, I'm not really interested in it. This is a way to stop Drakes. Oh, I boarded out a Compass, didn't I? Yeah, I should totally leave both Compasses in. The tool to cover over cards is a Twitch extension called Deckmaster. It grabs information from my local computer and sends it up to Twitch to go on all of your wonderful screens at home. All right, y'all ready to drop bombs? Bombs, 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 bombs. All right, Tefri.
Hurry.
So, like, definitely have a counterspell, right? Like, not close. Opponent doesn't want worms. What a pity.
Let's skip to the good part.
Yeah, I agree, Extras. I'd be willing to bet part of the reason why this deck fell short of a top 8 finish at the Grand Prix that it was played in, where it had a deep run, was because of its weak matchup against these control decks. These, like, real control decks. Yeah, counterspell based control decks. I'm gonna like try and stick to some Immortal Sun here, but like when that doesn't resolve, I'm probably gonna move along with my life. Yeah, there's 4 Carnage Tyrants to the sideboard, but not having those in the main deck probably makes this a huge dog game 1, which means you're a huge dog to win the match. And again, like, one of the best things you can learn to do against control, especially when you're just playing a Magic Arena, is to identify when you're mostly dead, even though your health total isn't 0, you can concede and move along with your life. It's interesting how many decks have popped up in this. I feel like so Jeskai was actually the most successful deck at the Grand Prix this past weekend, and I think one of the reasons why Jeskai was so successful at both Grand Prix was because it's well positioned against all of these decks that are good against green black. Running Gateway. We played the Gateway Jeskai deck on stream once before it was successful to GP this weekend, and it just, I find that level of threat lightness really tedious to play. It's as tedious to play as it is to play against for me. Just like not a huge fan personally. Yeah, honestly, if you're expecting to play against a lot of control, main deck Tyrants are probably a good suggestion for this deck. Great. I'm gonna have a turn 5 sweeper if they don't have a counterspell. Yeah, if you expect more Jeskai and less aggro, playing Tyrants over the Worms probably makes sense. Play another card, play another card. Welcome to the Space Jam. Oh, man. Oh, man. I think we're just supposed to make him have it there. Yeah, blue, white, and standard is fine. The no fly list only applies to standard or modern. Oh, that's why there's gates in this deck, because this card gets gates. That's funny. Oh, wait. No, it targets a creature you control. Got it. Oh, yeah. I hear blue 1/1s are going extinct, chat. Did you hear that too, or is that just me? The animation on that card is so good. Here's the best piece of advice you're gonna get from this stream today. Just because your card's an instant doesn't mean you have to play it on their end step. Oops. Oops. Why? Can I just get like a max for X? It's 6, right? 6 is the max. These are my friends. City bless us, everyone. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Just like gain 6, just like casually go back to 19 this next turn. Oh, yeah. I like my worm opponent. It's a real big fan of you. My worm gives out hugs. You like my, why is it glowing? Does that mean it has a dice effect? Is that what that means? Trample, okay. Got it. This is not a Tristani matchup. This is not an Immortal Sun matchup. So Settle's bad in this matchup because the opponent, what's it called, can counter it. Siren Storm Tamer counter Settle. Is this a Carnage Tyrant matchup? I don't think this is a Tyrant matchup, is it? Is it really, though? I need one cut as is. Remember, sideboarding's 1-to-1, chat, so if you want to just like bring a card, tell me what I should be cutting and why. Knight for Obsessions? Am I that scared? Is Knight better than Banefire? I can see Knight being better than Banefire. Maybe get rid of these stupid gateways and put on a couple of Carnage Sirens. Alright, I bet that for $1. Let's give this a go. Just play 75 cards, right? I mean, this doesn't have a sweeper in it, but it's got ramp on curve, so I probably want to keep. Yeah, Compass is great. This card's been really impressive. I was pretty happy with this card in the blue black artifact deck that we've played. So I'm not going to activate this for a couple of turns. I'm just going to go ahead and pass and seal something away here, I think. Zap this Storm Tamer, take some pressure out of play. Good night, Moon. Yep. How many games have we played so far with this? This is our second match. We died pretty handily to Jeskai control. That matchup seemed pretty rancid. Can you walk beginners through your process for sideboarding? So generally, I try to take out the cards that are bad, and I put in the cards that are good. The non-facetious answer is that sideboarding is a really complicated process, that there aren't really shortcuts that apply to every single deck. Well-built decks are going to have tools that are good and obvious to cut and good and obvious to bring in, but not all decks are well built. Not every deck that does well at a tournament is going to be a deck that I would classify as well built that'll have those swaps easily accessible. Yeah, the deck master is great. My best advice, and this is a little bit harder to do on Arena than in Paper Magic, but my best advice for people, especially when you're playing someone else's deck and you're struggling to sideboard, you should put all 15 cards from your sideboard into your main deck and then try and cut the 15 worst cards, as opposed to thinking about sideboarding as I'm putting in this card and pulling out this one. So instead, the thing that makes sideboarding so difficult is that sideboarding is really an extension of deck building. So what you want to think about your deck during sideboarding as is, this is a 75 card deck, and I need to build the best 60 card deck out of these 75 cards. And you do that by cutting the 15 worst ones generally. Yeah, McCarver, the reason why I use the forum is I respond to it after I'm done streaming. So usually I respond once every day or every other day. Do you find that sideboarding is considered easier to do in digital and paper? Yeah, definitely. When I don't have a plan, when I'm winging it, sideboarding is much easier in digital. And like different types of decks tend to sideboard differently. So like advice that applies to like sideboarding with the control deck, for instance, isn't necessarily applicable to a mid-range deck or vice versa. I think we're just gonna die. This deck like obviously did well at a tournament, so like it's reasonable, but this deck has what I just referred to as ramp deck problems, because it's a ramp deck. It's just like when you have the right mix of like fast mana into stuff to do, your deck is really good, and when you don't have that right mix of stuff, your deck just like isn't very interesting. Yeah, a deck like this that's so light on spot removal is one of the things that just really gets buried by the Curious Obsession draws. Yeah, there's also levels to be playing there too. The don't board against the deck you just played against, but the deck you're going to be playing against is like a really solid piece of advice, because decks often evolve or change during sideboarding. A great examples of levels in sideboarding in this current standard format is the blue-black decks, especially the mid-range and control decks that are bringing in Thief of Sanity out of the sideboard. So like when blue-black decks are playing a control mirror and the blue-black deck brings in Thief of Sanity out of the sideboard, that means the opposing control deck, even though they don't want their removal in their deck for their game 1 configuration, game 2 they need to leave some removal in, so they're not just cold to Thief of Sanity. We have 3 Clarions. We just haven't drawn our sweepers. We have Clarions. We have Stars of Extinction. We have Cleansing Novas. And maybe I'm supposed to mulligan more aggressively, but like I'm keeping hands that have lands and ramp spells in them, which I think we're supposed to keep. So I get to play this for 7, get spell pierced and concede. Kills you, it should make you really happy how much better on the eyes arena is than Magic Online. Is that not the right amount? Do I have more than 7? I have 10 mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have exactly 10. Why are you making me click? Oh, it is Convoke. It is Convoke. This is why it should offer me the max. Good call. It's like I was so confused. It's like, what is going on? We can get counterspell that I can see. No, confused. Counterspell done. All right, good. Good chat. I should take a draw step for a sweeper. Whatever. I got 7 cards. Probably another negate. All together now. All together now. Let's try one more here to see if we can do our thing, but I'm not a fan of ramp decks in general. It's like, I feel like they're like not terribly interesting overall. But like, even if we get lucky and it works, it's just like not a particularly stimulating game to be playing, right? On the draw with Gateway, green's our most common color in our mana base. Let's go ahead and keep this. We get 3 draw steps plus a Clarion loot, or plus a Gateway loot to hit green. So, card games have variance built into them, but there are definitely archetypes that have more variance built into them than others. A lot of well-designed card games, this includes Magic, even Hearthstone and most other games, give you the ability to make your deck have less variance in it during deck construction. I don't think I can ever beat Adanto Vanguard. I need a Wurm to play ASAP. Nice, Death Eater. All right, Aaron, I'm gonna look at this deck list, run the Hyper Geo, and see if I was supposed to keep this or not. There's 26 lands in this deck. God, what are the odds? What are the odds we miss here? So we had 24 lands and 50. There are 53 cards. There are 24 lands. We had 4 draws at a land. We had 3 draws. Okay, so we want in our first 3 draws hitting it naturally. We're 84% to hit it naturally. With the 4th draw, we're 92% to hit. All right, yeah, 92% was definitely a keep. Super dead and it doesn't matter. People that think you're more likely to get flooded or screwed in paper either don't understand what it means to have confirmation bias, aren't particularly bright, or aren't shuffling sufficiently in paper. Honestly, it's probably a healthy mix of the 3. Probably a healthy mix of the 3. Yeah, there's a YouTube video of me explaining the hypergeometric distribution calculator. I should probably make a new one of those, because I think that uses some hex references in it, but they apply to Magic still. This is probably a matchup where Immortal Sun. It's a proper way to shuffle when you play paper sufficiently. Until your deck is sufficiently randomized. Generally like 7 riffles or so is pretty reasonable, so long as you're not looking and don't see any of the cards while you're doing it. Like making sure you're mashing the sides all the way together. It's like good clean living. I find shuffling therapeutic. Probably not a Banefire matchup. Porcelain Binding's probably good. Lots of different ways you can shuffle. I'm a big fan of the corner pack with the small bridge. Santa stuff, chat. It's a really old video. Actually, I don't even know how old that video is. What's the publish date on that one? It's 2016. That video is 2 years old. Thank you, who gave the name Carnage for Carnage Tyrant. Before my kid's warming down. You just don't select an avatar when you start out. If you don't have an avatar selected in the menus, you get a random one each time. I have no idea. You could delete Magic Arena and reinstall it. What does this card do? Sacrifice it. Destroy target legendary permanent that's an artifact, creature, or enchantment. Huh. That card's probably incredibly playable, huh? That card seems really sweet. So, do I Clarion? Or do I grow from the ashes? It puts into play untapped. I could grow from the ashes into Clarion. The Warhammer mobile game is called Age of Sigmar Champions. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. Game's a lot of fun. Well, no, I can grow plus Clarion here, which I think is fine. Like, I could save the grow to, like, kick it later, but I think this is fine. Don't forget to give your creatures lifelink, chat. How has this deck been so far? Mediocre. The Age of Sigmar game plays really smoothly. Because it was designed in mobile in mind, it doesn't get too out of control on the board, which is nice. If they do tournaments at Gen Con next year, I'll probably play their stuff at Gen Con. If you're looking for a good mobile card game, cannot recommend the Age of Sigmar game enough. It's a lot of fun. Well, that's the beauty of playing deck lists that my viewers submit, is I don't even have to come up with the spicy decks myself. I just let them send them my way, and I do the rest. So, do I take a hit for 5 here so I can Cleansing Nova and keep my seal away? I think so. Oh, and it's going to be Vigilant, so I actually don't have an option. So, yes! Boop. Boop, boop, boop on the nose. And, like, even here, like, our deck kind of did what it wanted to do, but we're not winning, I don't feel like. His deck has a lot of sweepers in it. For sure. Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. It's actually got really sweet. So it's a game that has a physical card game as well. And the physical cards, when you get them in paper, you get to scan them into the digital app. So when you buy cards in paper, you get them in digital also, which is really sweet. I actually have, I think I have almost more paper cards for that game than Magic at this point because I bought them to play in digital. If we hit an untapped land here, we could be okay, you know, assuming, you know, we're just like dead to this stupid CJ commander, right? Warhammer Age of Sigmar Champions. I guess I do this. My lands untap. Whoa, that animation is sweet. All right, so I'm gonna kill this dude, and then I'm gonna gain life to 7 here. Right? Am I gaining a 7 or am I shooting one more thing? I might just pass here. Do we like passing? I go like leave the shoot up. I'm gonna leave the shooty up because they could play like an Aurelia, right? We need to get like History of Benali and Zacama together because they like have the best animations together. That's lethal, right? I can block. I don't have any outs, right? Just super dead. No, I gained a 7. I block here. How is it not lethal? It has haste and it mentors this. It's lethal no matter how I slice it. I shoot this, I block the double striker, I take 5, I die. Like, no matter what I do there, I die. Alright. My arena died, which I'm gonna take as a sign to be done for the day. We've been going for about 6.5 hours, a little bit longer than I normally go for. This deck felt really mediocre. It just had pretty classic ramp deck problems, and it's not one that I really personally enjoy playing. I think if your cards line up well, this deck is competitive, obviously. Like, it's just top 64 to Grand Prix. I think it's very reasonable. Hey, awesome Hollywood. Good games to you. Good luck in the rest of your matches today. That's gonna be it for me for today, folks. Remember, I'll be back tomorrow morning playing some Modern on everybody's favorite spreadsheet Magic emulator, Magic Online. And then tomorrow night, I will be doing all Arena all evening. I'll start about 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so approximately 28 hours from now, I will be live with more Arena. I'll be live tomorrow morning with some more Modern. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Ninja Mouse, you do appear to currently be subbed. Sometimes if you resub, you need to refresh and send the notification through your browser. Thanks for the support as always, folks, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow. And thanks everybody that hung out. We broke 2,000 people today, which is awesome. That's a big number for me. Not a big number for some people, but it's a big number for me, so thanks for being here. I think Nox is on, so I'm gonna send y'all his way.